Hello everyone who is watching our YouTube live stream or the recording of this week's growth call. I'm Christoph Atteneder and I'm your host today. As always, I already posted the Google Hangout invitation link in the chat on the left, so you can join us here in the Hangout. Today we have Aruna, Manfred, and Steve with us. Hi guys. If you just want to watch the live stream, feel free to post your comments and questions in the live chat, and we try to answer them as good as possible. Our growth calls, like the one today, are about everything that helps to grow the Bisq network itself. If you don't know it by now, Bisq is the only true decentralized exchange to exchange national currency with cryptocurrency or crypto with other cryptocurrency. If you're interested in more details, please have a look at the introductional videos on Bisq, which I'll link, as always, in the description below after the call. Today's agenda is mainly focused on the Bisq DAO, but I want to give you a short market update of the current month. Afterwards, we will talk about why it is a bad idea to test on Testnet. If you already tested the Bisq DAO before on Testnet, we'll talk about what changes now from the Testnet Bisq DAO setup and our current setup. We'll also talk about the Bisq Explorer, which Tomasz set up. And in the end, if you stay until the end, we'll also tell you when the new release, 0.9.4, will be released. So bear with us. I think it's an exciting growth call today. Okay, let's get right into it, into the market update. We can keep it quite short. The trading volume is quite okay, but still we'll see roughly a decrease of around 20% on the daily average trades and volume. That's mainly because the Monero market isn't that strong that it was the last couple of months. It's still picking up over the last couple of days, but yeah, it's a little bit less than last month. So all in all, we might hit $2 million roughly in volume. That's on the market update already. So actually, we wanted to release version 0.9.4 already on Tuesday, but it got delayed because we used Testnet to test the Bisq DAO, and it worked quite well for us over the last couple of months. But that just changed on Tuesday, I think it was. Manfred, are you already with us, or are you still on the way picking up your T-shirt?
No, I got it.
Okay, perfect.
T-shirt as well. By the way, if anybody wants to get such T-shirts, Peter, I invited him to join, but seems he didn't have time. He's running the Bisq shop, or the domain is bisq.shop, and he has some other stuff there for sale, also the Bisq T-shirt in black or in white, and some coffee mugs, and I think some other items as well, and some stickers, of course. So feel free to just visit his webpage and get whatever you would like.
Yeah, it's really great. I also just recently got a bunch of stickers, which I'll take with me to the next Monero user group meeting in Vienna. If you happen to be in Vienna, join us at the meetup and you'll get Bisq stickers for free. Okay, sorry, Manfred. Manfred, maybe you can give us a little insight why it's a bad idea to test on Testnet.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Bitcoin Testnet is very often, that's a long history, used by some people for all kind of scenarios, attacks or protocol tests where they create thousands of transactions, and the other day were really 20,000, not transactions blocks, but probably also transactions. Also the other day they created 20,000 blocks in one day. The usual number is 144. And that screwed up our whole DAO setup because we're using the block height as for the timing of the different phases. So if a full cycle of the DAO voting, and so it takes at the moment 1 week for testing. And when so many blocks are created, then this time get compressed to a few hours or even less, and yeah, it became basically unusable. And you get strange problems because, I mean, that never happens on mainnet, of course, that there are 20,000 blocks in one day, otherwise Bitcoin is dead. So we get confronted with issues which are unrealistic in mainnet, and yeah, we don't want to focus our efforts on stuff which cannot happen basically on mainnet. And it's yeah, it's not the first time that we run into this issue. When we launched Bisq, I also stopped using Testnet because it was fluctuating from, sometimes you get blocks every few seconds and then you have to wait the maximum time. I think now it's 20 minutes, but I think back then it was even a few hours sometimes. And yeah, the alternative is to run a private testnet, which could be done like the normal testnet, but then you need to alter the Bitcoin core, yeah, with different parameters and so on, and run some miners and some seed nodes. So it gets a little bit of effort to really set up an alternative testnet. And of course, it's not you're not protected that some guys starting to put the ASICs on this private testnet and then you're screwed as well. We decided to make it a little bit easier to just use RegTest on a server-side basis. So there's one node where the master Bitcoin node is running, where the blocks are created, and then the seed nodes and the other nodes are connected only to this node. We ask every developer to not point directly to this node, because otherwise your local RegTest could have more blocks, and then we get very deep reworks and it can screw up our test environment again. So when you run RegTest locally, everything is fine. Just don't use the program argument connect and then the IP address to our master port, because that would screw up then when you have more blocks there. Then you would basically create a big rework, and that would probably screw up then the whole test environment again. So it's not very satisfying at the end to have not a more realistic test environment. But Testnet, unfortunately, is much far realistic. And we will, as before we are getting on mainnet, really, maybe we consider to try to build a testnet, an alternative testnet, which might be useful for later development testing scenarios as well. Or we are doing a kind of like a soft launch on mainnet, that we are deactivating trading at the beginning, so it's only for contributors. And in the worst case, when we find more bugs or whatever, then we can even roll back everything, because it's in a controlled environment where only Bisq contributors to whom we have contact have BSQ, and that might be a somehow interesting option to make a kind of like a soft launch and to reduce risks. So
sorry.
A small change is that the user need to select in their network. Also, when you go to settings, you can select the network. Before it was Testnet, now it's called DAO Testnet. We removed the normal testnet completely because it's basically unusable. If you have tested already in the past, you need to start it once and then move to this DAO testnet. So all the past cycles, or everything is done, as it's still on testnet, but it's not maintained anymore. There are no seed nodes, and we basically start over new again. We have started already a new Genesis distribution. I've sent pre-filled data directories to some developers and contributors who have tested a lot in the past. And if you want to join us testing, just ask for Testnet Bitcoin and Testnet BSQ on Slack or on the forum, and some of the contributors will send you. And another small change is that before we could use public Testnet Explorer for the Bitcoin side. So when you want to look up your transaction on a Block Explorer, and because it's now actually a RegTest, so there's nobody else is using this, we needed our own Block Explorer. Luckily, Thomas could implement this very fast. And we have now the same technology what's used at Blockstream, so pretty cool Block Explorer. And we have some exciting plans with Block Explorer, but maybe that's a little bit for later. So when everything goes good, maybe we get everything ready for today for release. Otherwise, maybe tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Manfred. I tried to share in parallel the changes in the client and also the block explorer that Tomasz set up. Let me just quickly check my note. Yeah. So actually, as Manfred already said, we had to delay the release because of these issues on testnet, and if everything goes fine, we might release today or probably on Monday. Just one more thing. Manfred, is there anything special we want to put out to everyone who's watching us live if they want to support for testing? So as I understood, for the user itself, nothing changes. You just update to the latest release, so 0.9.4. You go into the settings, change to the Bisq DAO testnet, and you're good to go. So it's quite easy, and it will be, maybe it's the second last release before the mainnet release. So it's getting closer and closer. So if you want to try it out before it goes live, now is the time to join us during testing. Yeah, are there any questions? Who is watching us live today? Feel free to just post it in the chat. We'll just give you a couple of seconds. Steve, do you have any plans for next week already, for next week's growth call? I heard that you're planning a nice video series, which you might talk about next week.
Yeah, well, so there's a video series that I've been working on to talk about the DAO, how it works, why it's needed, in quick 3-4 minute bites, so you can, not have to watch a long hour-long video or read a very long doc. Just see 3-4 videos, 3-4 minutes each, and get the exact overview of what the Bisq DAO is and what it does. So that's we'll talk more about it next week, but most of it is already uploaded elsewhere on the YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. And yeah, we'll talk more about it next week.
Yeah,
that's a preview.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, sounds great. And yeah, if you're curious about the new release, there is we have a couple. It's actually fully packed with fixes and improvements for the DAO on the one hand side, but also just for regular trading with improvements for payment methods, some bug fixes that were introduced in the last version, like multiple account use cases. That everything should be fixed. And one of the biggest things that you might recognize with that release is that we doubled the trading limit. It wasn't changed for, I think, 6 months or so, and the Bitcoin price went down, as you are aware. So we are just adapting slowly the limit where it was in the past. So, but for you, if you want to do some trading and you have to move bigger volumes, there's a big reason to update to a new release. Yeah, Manfred, do you have any last words or any points? Otherwise, we can keep it super short. Today's growth call.
Yeah, nothing special from my side. I just would like to ask Aruna if she wants to make a special session once in the next week or in 2 weeks maybe, where she talks a little bit about her project of this academy. I've just discovered this a few days ago, and it's really fantastic. Also, she's documenting and basically writing all down what she's learning about the Bitcoin technology and BSQ, and it's really great resources. So we would like to get this as kind of like a wiki. There are for sure many other people who are, yeah, it's great help for people to get deeper into the technology. And yeah, very well written, very easy to digest and understand. and maybe you can talk a little bit more about your journey into this space and all your experience so far.
Sure. I also wanted to mention a few things about this project and what's happening with the BlockPost Initiative. So Steve and I are actually want to pool all of these different projects that are happening in communications together and post them on GitHub so that people can see what's happening, just get a bigger overview of what's happening. And yeah, so the Wiki Academy, so I just did it on my own, like personal GitHub site, just gathering information about Bisq and Bisq DAO. But I already got some interest from some contributors who would like to collaborate and maybe do some illustrations. So I'm always open and interested in working with other contributors on this and many other projects in communications. So yeah, I would be happy to talk about it, and also maybe about why I joined Bisq and how my views about it have changed over the last 6 months. And also, I wanted to mention the blog projects, what's happening right now. We got some interest, which is great. And we are planning to publish weekly blog posts, hopefully one this week or early next week, and then every week. And we are open to more contributors who would like to join us on Slack or Bisq forum. And also we are interested in having illustrators, because it would be great to work together and show or illustrate different concepts so that they're easier to understand, and then include them in some or many blog posts. So let us know if you're interested, and I hope that you'll join us.
Sounds like a great initiative. And of course, like everything that helps the Bisq network, also this kind of work is up for compensation. So if to write blog posts, make illustrations, you don't have to do it as you have to do it in the regular world. Work for free, pitch a lot. If you make a nice illustration, you get compensated.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that.
Yeah, and actually also for helping testing, that's maybe one of the last chances to get into the Genesis distribution. So when you help testing, we will give a contribution to all testers. So yeah, take the chance. Yeah,
and regarding the testing toolset, we might have for the next big release a completely new testing setup. Which looks really promising. Devin is working on that, and yeah, I'm quite excited. I think that will be will make it way more easier than what we had before, and it's way better than using spreadsheets, which is also a pain to maintain over the time. Yeah, if there aren't any more questions from you guys watching us live, I would say let's wrap it up, because we have some final testing to do, and hopefully we'll able to do the release today. But yeah, if we won't make it, we don't want to risk anything. So latest there will be the release on Monday. But yeah, fingers crossed that everything works out for today. Okay, see you soon, and see you latest next week. There's of course there might be Manfred regarding the dev call. Will it be moved to Tuesday? So. Or
yeah,
is there a final decision?
We can talk about it next week. So for next week, the dev call will be Tuesday, I think 9 o'clock PST. So Devin can join as well. I will announce it the next days, and then we can discuss if we permanently move to this time that he's able to join as well. That's quite, I think, 9 hours difference to Europe. So it's a little bit difficult to get everybody, but yeah. I will update it on the GitHub this week. We skipped it because of the stress with the release. But next week we talk about the release cycle, about the the testing stuff, maybe also the testing frameworks and so on. So
yeah, sounds great. Yeah, then thanks for watching and see you again next week. Bye. Thanks everyone for joining today.
bye bye.